having had some time to kind of reflect on it, how'd you feel like the week of preparation went for TJ going out to UCLA, and how'd you feel like he played?
It's that bye week thing again, right? Moved on from that game about 10 days ago. No, I was obviously happy with how he handled everything. Thought he played really good first time out, which we expected him to. I mean, there's a lot of confidence in the coaches with him. We talked about that, and then he went out there and proved it. I think the coolest thing that him handling going back home was awesome. Okay, now that was his element too. The weather and Southern Cal is kind of his element right there. And he felt good in pregame, and we even kind of kidded around about that. Just as far as the ball was kind of sticky, and he was spinning it pretty good, and he played well. From an offense, it was probably our most efficient game. If you just look at all the stuff that matters that we always talk about, I mean, those numbers were pretty good, from yards per play to critical downs to red zone touchdowns, just all that stuff that it takes to win games. So he was fired up, though. I mean, he right before his first drive, he came to me, he goes, I got you, and I got this, coach. He goes, just, call it like you normally would, and I did. I called it like I normally would, and he went out there and executed at a very high level. So I think he got confidence from that. I think the team got confidence in it. I think, Coach Rule did an amazing job of getting the guys to understand what it takes when you're playing a freshman quarterback, first start. Everybody needs to elevate their game, and that's what I saw. I mean, I saw a bunch of guys that elevated their game, and hopefully that can carry on into this week. Probably needed a bye week at that point, although you got some momentum. We kind of needed that. So I think we'll be ready to go play. The guys are fired up about practicing out there today. And, this is a different animal, a different element, different elements, different football team, different environment, so everything's going to be different. So, I'm looking forward to see how we play. We're gonna have to play up. I mean, this is a good football team that we're playing. I don't care what their record is. None of that matters. The only thing when you put the tape on and you watch it, they're playing really well. So, probably their best two games have been the last couple of games here. So, be a big challenge for us.
How do you kind of get TJ ready for that kind of an atmosphere? I mean, UCLA was one thing, but this is going to Penn State night game. I mean, do you do anything different? Or?
No. The only thing I can compare it to is here, against USC. I mean, people come here so they can play in these types of games, to play in these types of environments. I'm excited about it. I've never been there. I mean, when I was, at West Virginia, there was history there in those that they had played in the past, and due to conference realignments and everything, that it was gone. But it was kind of the initiative of our administration to get some of those old rivalries back, with Pitt and with Penn State. And so there's a lot of crossover and a lot of familiarity with them. But no, I've never been there. But we got plenty of people on the staff that have, and I've heard a lot about it. But I think TJ's gonna be fired up, ready to go, man. I mean, you come to Nebraska to play in these games. And so these are the kind of games that you look forward to. I was just talking with Dylan out there at practice, and it's killing him. He's once again in the meetings, taking notes. Great sounding board. But one of the things he said to me out there was, man, this was a game that I was really looking forward to. So people come here to play in types of games like these.
Coach, what's your familiarity with Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator? You come across him, and how will he challenge TJ with different looks and pressures in this game?
Yeah, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Houston. There's some games that we crossed over, and so I've known him I don't know him personally, but known him for a long time. Very multiple with what they're doing. He was a big stack guy, the whole player at Oklahoma State, and he's still doing some of that, obviously, but they're a little bit more aggressive with it now. They're pressuring more, they're blitzing more, they're not just sitting back in that two-hole stuff, and so he's doing a lot of stuff, and so there's there's familiarity, but the only thing I can take is what the last 4 games are, and what they've kind of settled into, which is a high pressure, aggressive type defense. And so does a fantastic job with really good players. A lot of really good players out there that are kind of getting their groove back right now.
Matt mentioned your wide receivers when they're blocking. He said they're actually hunting guys in some cases, like Hunter on the long Emmett Johnson touchdown. What have you seen just out of that group and their downfield work?
Yeah, I'm really proud of how they're playing, man. They had a lot of juice out there today. They just kind of settled into kind of that's what they're known for right now. When the ball comes their way, they're excited about it. Each of them had 3 or 4 touches last game, which was good. Spreading the ball around. They all know that the ball is gonna find them if they just get out there and play hard. But one of the things that they can do to help the team when the ball is not coming to them is how they're blocking. It's as impressive of a blocking receiver core as I've seen, I've seen. So, credit to DeKeel Shorts and those guys for embracing what's going on right now and doing anything that they can to help the team.
And since we last talked to you, Emmett had his big game against UCLA, and then the Heisman campaign really kind of took off. What's your opinion on how he stacks up against some of the best players in college football?
Well, my opinion can't really change from what I've stood up here and said, right? So I've been tooting that horn for a while. The one thing that I didn't know is if he could handle 30 touches a game. I don't think any of us knew that. And we were concerned with the number of snaps and the number of touches early. We had that conversation with game 1 too much and then game 4 too much. Well, is it? Because that's, it doesn't look like it is to me. The dude just keeps getting stronger, and whatever, we need to do to get the ball to him. 1, we're going to do that, but 2, he can handle that, and so it's pretty cool to see a young man that's worked so hard that is getting the credit that he deserves. Just look at the numbers. The numbers are as good as anybody in the country, and what I see is a motivated guy that practices hard and has a great attitude. Had a great practice out there today and is looking forward for another opportunity to go play the game he loves. And so, just really proud of him and where he's at and what he's doing.
How have you seen him remain focused when the conversation outside of, off the field has been what it has been the last couple of weeks?
I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. It's always about the next game for me and preparing these guys to go, to go play. And that's what practice is about. We had, we needed some time off, even him last week, we didn't let him practice on Tuesday, and Wednesday he got out there and he was 100% full speed, but I'm sure his body appreciated some time off. He doesn't complain about anything. He does a great job in recovery and getting ready for the next one, and he's going to be fired up about going and playing a good quality opponent. I know that.
What have Mosey and Mekhi Nelson shown you behind the scenes?
Yeah, they're getting better every week. It's just when you got that bell cow out there, we're going to keep feeding them, And I just always do the same thing. I look at it, and if I feel like he's a little banged up, or if I feel like he's a step slow, or he's out there breathing hard or whatever it is, I just haven't seen that, and so you guys know at this point we're going to ride him as long as we can. But those guys have really done a good job of with their preparation and their practice. They're ready if needed, when needed.
You guys have had quite a bit of success in your first drives of games. How do you choose to approach initial drives? Do you use a script? Do you go by feel? How does that work?
A little both. We got situations play a part in that, but we got like everybody else, the top 10, 12, 15 plays or whatever it is that we feel good about, that's looked good throughout the week. I don't pick those until after Thursday's practice. We practice them Tuesday, practice them Wednesday, hone in on some things on Thursday, but really study that Thursday tape. And then we, as a coaching staff, make a decision of what we feel like those top plays are, and then what the top plays are in the situational stuff too, And so I just think the guys, they kind of know what's going to get called, in what situations are going to get called. That gives them comfort. I talked a lot about that with Dylan and stuff when I got here, as far as, being in that quarterback room and and hearing, I'm not in there coaching them. That's Glenn's job, but I'm in there, and I'm for simply for support of like these plays are going to get called in these times. Okay. And so I think they just have a comfort level for what's going to get called. There's not a whole lot of surprises, but then there is a feel aspect to it too, as well, to where, if some things are going good here, but not going good there, I kind of do things that are going good. And, that's the flow of that I think's been good, but yeah, we've been starting fast, but, I think everybody tries to.
On that 3rd and goal, it probably took some trust to call a throw there. Did your heart go in your throat there when that ball went on the, I mean, he threw a really good pass to Barney, but it was a tight situation over there on the sideline.
It's just all stuff we've practiced, and so if we've practiced it and it looks good, I don't flinch. We just call it, that's worked in practice. And so I felt like I was going to work there, there's a couple of plays that I called on that 4-minute drive, which we executed pretty dang good too. Our 7th drive of the game, which get used to those games. I mean, the next 2 games are going to be like that too, where they're low possession games. We're going to try to do that too. We're going to try to control the ball, and I think we've done a decent job of that this year. But on that 4-minute drive, I was just calling plays, and you got to have the trust in him to make the decisions on some RPO stuff or some nakeds and boots to keep the thing in play, and some people don't think that's a good idea. I do, and I trust him, and he knows that. And I think TJ mentioned it after the game, where he's just playing ball. Don't think about it. Just play ball. Whatever the play call is, just execute it. And he did.
Where have you seen Luke just grow the most throughout this season, and how important will the tight ends be this week?
Yeah, they're very important. Anytime you have dangerous edge guys, and they got a bunch of them, you're going to need some help with some tight ends. And so, he's done a really good job just being consistent throughout the course of the year. You guys know how I feel about Luke too. Just he's an all-around good football player, so, and he's very unselfish, whatever we ask him to do. I think that where he's improved the most is just physicality in the run game, physicality from a blocking perspective, just doing things that that tight ends need to do. I mean, he loves it, and he takes great pride in that. Heinrich keeps getting better. He's still old ex-quarterback that's trying to figure out the position, and then Carter Nelson's really done a good job here in the last probably month, and so he's starting to get a few more snaps as well, which is good for his future. Thank you all.